What would you say? Let's just say someone out there, they don't want to use an import company like yourself. They just want to do it themselves.
Yep.
What would be the top things that you would say that they need to look out for if importing a vehicle?
Don't buy sight unseen.
So you mean don't buy off the auction, like on your computer? Is that what you mean?
I mean, you can buy from the auctions, but at the end of the day, you need someone on the ground to look at that vehicle.
Right.
You can't trust the gradings, the reports. In Japan, quite often we'll see a car's graded 3.5 or 4. Now,
That's out of 5?
yeah, so the scale works from what they call an R or a 1 through to a 5. So a 5 would be a vehicle like this, like your 21 STI here. It'd be a vehicle that's new or like a demo, sort of dealer used vehicle. So you'd think somewhere about the 3.54 would be a pretty prime example, but we've seen more often than not, these 4s or these 3.5s will have excess amount of surface rust. We've seen cars, Subarus, with knocking engines that are graded 4. So that's a complete engine out, rebuild or a new engine in it. So yeah, you always need someone on the ground to go look at the vehicle, get under it. It goes without saying, Japanese roads are salted for the snow and the ice. So unless you've got someone on the ground to get under that car and have a look, you're buying blind. You might pick up a bargain, but 9 times out of 10 you're going to get shafted.
Yeah, and then you're going to be hit up with more costs, obviously.
Well, then you run the risk of compliance issues if the rust is too bad or it needs too much.
It may not even comply.
Yeah.
So the government say you just imported this car for 50 grand. Now you can't even drive it.
Yeah, exactly. So they might say it's too far gone. I mean, you can do the repairs on it before it goes, but yeah, it's a big grey area, and it's if you're spending that sort of money on a vehicle, it's just not something you want to have to do.
What about things with the compliance? Are there any things to look out for?
So contact a compliance workshop, or what they call a RAW workshop, a registered automotive workshop, first before you even buy a vehicle, to make sure that they've got the ability to comply that vehicle. Just because it's on the eligible vehicle list doesn't mean you can comply.
Right.
So
you get stung big time on that.
Yeah. And for an example, we've got a Spec C RA STI here now, and we're going through a few compliance issues with that.
And when you say compliance issues, I'm assuming it's things just like
safety things. Airbags, seat belts, child restraints. Those sort of things.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Kyle, that if you're importing a car that doesn't require compliance, it's because you're going to either rally it or just have it off the dirt track. Is that right? Or you still
they're
have to
brought in through a different scheme.
Okay.
That's sort of like the race rally scheme. To bring one of those in, you need to prove that vehicle is going to serve a purpose in a certain class or a certain competition, and it's done through a CAMS licensing.
Right. Okay.
So you can bring in very cool cars that way, but they'll never see the road, unfortunately.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Now, anything else we need to look out for?
How are you going to drive it? I mean, if it's going to be a daily driver that you want to modify, go out, use it every day of the week, go to meets and stuff, maybe consider buying something with a few more Ks on it, that you're not going to necessarily worry about putting the Ks on it. You'll drive it, you'll enjoy it. You're not going to sort of sit on it and let it sort of swallow away in the garage.
That would be a complete waste, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
exactly. And the Japanese look after their cars so well.
Okay.
Most of the time.
What about something like the first thing I think of is about the tsunami?
Yep.
Right. So are there still a lot of vehicles in Japan that people need to look out for that have been basically swamped?
You'd think not, but I see cases a couple times a month of guys that, not so much in Australia, but in America, that are getting caught out buying cars that have had water damage or repair damage, so they're sort of getting doled up and prettied up because they know the market's so strong for them and the demand's so strong that Japan's a lovely place and the people are wonderful, but unfortunately with any country there is people that will try and make a buck by screwing other people over. So
yeah, and once you've got it in your other country, I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, you can't fly to Japan, so the responsibility's sort of off them.
Yeah,
so
awesome.
you can get caught out, just be careful.
Yeah, that's some really, really good points, Kyle. So guys, just remember, if you want to import a car, I mean, look out for those things, but I would say by far go and see someone who's an expert in this particular business, who can do all the compliance and take care of all the issues for you. And if you want to know someone who's local right here in Australia, you can contact Kyle at Flat Fours. I'll put his details in the description, or you can search Flat Fours on Google. All right, take care.